on Boxing Day.
You've still got a bit of mince pie.
Have I? Good, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. I apologise. I do apologise.
Right, no problem. Just try and keep it yourself. Not spray it over me.
Gary, heading into this Christmas festive season, it doesn't seem as hectic as some Christmas festive seasons.
No, that's probably because I'm putting a brave face on it, and it's all hectic in here and in here. Obviously, a lot of organisation has to be done. The boys have to know my sort of rules and regulations of the festive period. So it's took a bit of organising, to be fair, as this period always does. With 3 games in a short space of time, you've got to try and get it spot on. And of course, it's always less hectic when you're top of the league at the minute, because people trust what we're doing and trust the arrangements, and there's nobody voicing an opposition to anything that we're doing.
So what are the Gary Johnson Christmas rules and regulations? Do you train on Christmas Day?
I don't train on Christmas Day, no. I have done on occasions. I think if you ring round most clubs nowadays, you'd find that most of them don't train on Christmas Day, except the managers that are in trouble because they need every minute with their team on the pitch. And of course, this year, with it being a Friday, it's a normal training day. But the lads have got their information. It's a matter of trusting them. We're obviously training today, and we'll be working on our set plays, etc. on Saturday morning. We're actually meeting here at the training ground early to have a pre-match, but we're getting slightly earlier. So they'll all be they're all fit at this moment in time, as far as they're mentally and physically ready. All they got to do is not overindulge. Really, that's the big thing, and don't spend too much time on the road. So there is a rule about being back in Cheltenham for Christmas night, quite early, not at 3 o'clock in the morning, but they've got to be back in in Cheltenham by 10. And that's really, so they have got Christmas Day off, but only in their training, not. But I think it's a good idea sometimes just to let them see their families and look forward to coming in and look forward to the games.
And that morning session on Boxing Day, I suppose, that gives you the chance to check that everyone has obeyed those rules as well.
Yeah, if I radically change the team, then you'll know that a few haven't obeyed the rules. Because I always say I see dead people in a football sense, and I do, and I can see. By their eyes, they know that. I've seen a million faces over the years in my 40 years in football, so I'm pretty sure that I can spot someone who's overindulged or hasn't had enough sleep, maybe, for whatever reason. And, of course, they won't play because it is an important period for us, and I've got to make sure that they're all spot on.
Can you spot it in opponents as well? Can you exploit those weaknesses if you spot the opposition sort of walking through the tunnel?
Well, not really. That's up to them. No, you can't, because I'm not talking to them right in face to face. They wouldn't let me do that. But you'll know after the game. But what you've got to worry is about your team. You've got to make sure that we're ready, and then if they're ready, fair enough. If they're not, then we win the game. If we're not, then they can win the game. What we've got to do, we're 39 points ahead of them at Christmas time, halfway through. That's a lot of points. So what we got to work out, and what we're trying to work out, and we are working out, why we're that many points ahead. So therefore, we've got to bring out whatever that is that's put us that far ahead of a team halfway into the season. Yes, they've had a new manager. Yes, they might have had 1 or 2 new players coming in. But at the moment, their pattern's the same. They're a wounded animal. We've got to make sure that we don't go there and think we can just turn up, because that won't be the case. But we've got to find the game that's got us all those points over and above Kiddy.
And obviously there's a derby element to it
Yeah.
as well, traditional derby as well. Can your experiences of having played Forest Green twice already this season help as you go into another derby?
Yeah, I think so. Because a lot of the boys do live local, they do see it as a derby. Sometimes when you're at other clubs and you've got players coming from all over the country, they don't necessarily see the club's derby as a derby because they don't live in the area. But we've managed to Cheltenhamify our players. Is that a word?
It is now.
Put that in the dictionary. Cheltenhamify our players, and they know they're in the same mindset as the supporters. They know what a derby is, and they know how much it means for bragging rights and all that sort of thing. And anyway, it's a derby that we got to get results for in our quest to win the league. So these boys all know exactly what the game's about.
You talked about having to plan the festive season. How much do you have to plan using your squad? Because although it's 3 games in 8 days,
Yeah.
Saturday, Monday is pretty hectic.
It is, but you can't plan all the games right now because you don't know who's going to get in. You might say, well, I'll leave him out next time and bring him in, rest him, and all of a sudden you get an injury or something, touch wood, we don't. But if you did, then obviously everything changes. So you do take each game as it comes. Managers have said that a few times because it is true that you have to, and then I'll adjust as and when we need to adjust. Everyone's in on Sunday, so we'll know who's took little knocks. So obviously we played a game Saturday. We're all in on Sunday, all the pros, so we know exactly who's fit, who's not fit, who's ready, who's not ready, and then we'll do the same in preparation for the next game. Is that right? I've got the days right. Yeah, good. I haven't got it in front of me.
And at this stage, how is fitness across the squad? I mean, is presumably no new injury worries.
No, there's no new injury worries. No, there isn't, and that's good. So that's very good because if we can keep a continuous group of people playing and playing together, you can only get better. And I keep saying I think we'll be better in the second half of the season.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Just on the fact that Kidderminster and Torquay come up next for both Forest Green and Cheltenham, is that a chance to maybe gauge where you are in terms of them? If they drop points or you drop points, it's going to give the other a bit of a fillip, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Well, both teams would have looked at that, that's for sure. And both those teams are fighting for their lives. They are. So whether they're the ones you want to be playing right now, we won't know yet. But as you say, we've both got a similar sort of run of 3 games. And if one slips up, probably the other one won't. And so you've got to make sure that's not you that slips up. But Torquay and Kiddy of course must have games in them. They've got some points, and you've got to make sure they're not taking them off you.
Just seen Amari outside. He's off his plaster off. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
What's his sort of prognosis now for coming back?
He's still maybe 4 to 6 weeks away because one leg's like that and one leg's like that. So one's big, one's small for the radio listeners, and so he's going to have to build that up. It's been in a cast for a long time, and he's got to work it and etc. So I'm sure he'll do that because he's looking forward to getting back. He's really pleased to have that big lump off the bottom of his leg now, and that big cast, and he can see the light at the end of the tunnel now, which is good.
Yeah, I think it's 28 goals between the 3 strikers already this season. So
Yeah.
they're doing their job nicely, aren't they?
Yes, people still say we need a striker, don't they?
Well, you said it in your pre-press
Yeah, I
conference
know.
a few weeks ago.
You can never have enough strikers, but the strikers ain't happy with that because strikers, by their very nature, want to play. They want to score goals, and they can't score goals sitting on the bench all season or not playing, and it makes it very difficult for their continuity, if you like, for their game time to get that confidence. And Billy's showing that, you know, he didn't score the other night, but he had 3 very, very good chances. And on another day, he might have got 1 or 2 of them. You know, we've got strikers that have been scoring goals, as you say. That's great. And if you have 1 striker scoring 28 or 3 strikers scoring, it don't matter. You've still got 28 goals, and our goal difference is worth a point to us against anybody other than Grimsby, who are sort of pretty close to us in goals average.
Saw Elliot Richards was training the other day. Is he back on course again after that hamstring?
Well, you know, when you've had a hamstring and after you've just come back, it sets you back. So he's gone like 1 step back to go 2 steps forwards to go 2 steps back. So it's a little bit frustrating for him at the minute. He can't quite get that fitness that would bring him near the first team at the moment. So we just have to keep working with him. Might have to get him some games somewhere just to get him a bit of game time, because we don't want to. If you put him into our way of playing at the moment, he's not going to be ready. So when is he going to be ready? We might have to give him a month out to get some games.
Yeah, it seems churlish to start this after when you've got 2 games coming up, but obviously the transfer window opens effectively next week.
Yeah. How
quickly do you think you'd make a move, if any, given obviously the defensive shortage that you've got? Yeah,
we've put a few feelers out there. We've got people in mind. Often those people that you have in mind have options as well. Of course, we're a good option to most people, but a lot of people want to either stay in the league or go in the league, and not take the chance of going to someone who's not in the league but top of their league. So we got a few names in the pipeline, but the good thing is like you said in your first question, we're not panicking. You know, we know we've got a group here that will see it through. We've got a couple of games that we've got to be clever with the squad, if you like, and with the team, and lucky. You've got to have that little bit of luck as well, so that you don't get a couple of injuries all at once for a couple of games. But then everybody's like that, because nobody's going to make a move for anybody over the next couple of games.
And just finally, obviously, with Louis Van Gaal, we've got to say sorry, because that's what journalists have to do now. I
think that's very nice, yeah. I think that's very apt. But what have you got to say sorry for? What have you done?
Exactly. I don't know yet.
You still ain't got rid of that mince pot. No.